I don't just talk about other people's stuff, I also make my own. Books in particular. To date, I have 4 books you can check out on Amazon. Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, Occult Mafia, Emerald of Maddox City, and the short story collection Assorted Absurdities, Tales of Kaiju Punk and Other Genres. Hop on down to the description for Amazon links to all 4 books. Enjoy whichever ones you read, and enjoy the video. Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Omni Viewer, and welcome to Genre Benders, Obscurities, and Flawed Gems, where we look at the best stuff you've never heard of. The Halloween season is once again upon us, and it brings with it all sorts of familiar sights and sounds. Today, however, I wish to highlight something Halloween-related that seems to have been lost to the sands of time. A rock opera entitled Oculus Infernum by Van Helsing's Curse.
Never heard of it.
That's about to change, though the story of how this album came to be starts with a completely different band. In 1996, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, itself spun off from Savatage, released Christmas Eve and Other Stories, a Yuletide rock opera that combined holiday standards, classical compositions, and new material realized with a symphonic rock sound to create an auditory experience like nothing anyone had ever heard before. It was just what the Christmas season needed to rejuvenate its musical side, which up until that point had become inundated with novelty singles, phoned-in covers, and the same handful of songs repeated over and over and over and over again. One of the people who was impressed by TSO was Dee Snider of Twisted Sister. He was so impressed, in fact, that he decided to make his own version, only this one would focus on Halloween. That's how Oculus Infernum by Van Helsing's Curse came to be. As an album, well, what can I say? It accomplishes exactly what it sets out to do. If you like TSO's Christmas albums but always wondered what it would be like if they went a bit darker, this album will satisfy your curiosity. I don't say that to imply that it's a cheap imitation, mind you. Despite the similar premise, Van Helsing's Curse puts its own spin on things. The music combines a number of recognizably eerie tunes, including Tubular Bells, Mars the Bringer of War, Dies Irae, and Black Sabbath's self-titled song, to name but a few, and combines them with some original material, just as TSO does. Thanks to the different tone, though, there's more of a creepy, gothic atmosphere to the music, a kind not even found in TSO's non-Christmas albums. Of course, this is also a rock opera, which means it's telling a story. Though figuring out what that story is can be just a little bit tricky. Dee Snider provides narration at the beginning of each track, but that's all the album has to let you in on the plot. Aside from Latin chanting and wordless arias, the songs are instrumental numbers, with the one exception being the bonus track Cry Little Sister, which isn't part of the main story.
Is Snyder's narration enough?
It is, but just barely. As far as I can tell, there's an ancient evil force that has awakened after eons of slumber, and it begins its reign of terror immediately. Dr. Abraham Van Helsing is already on the case, but he's not the hero this time around. The only thing that can defeat this evil force is a child pure of heart, and it is Van Helsing's job to prepare him for the task. The narration tells us precisely this much, and any plot specifics beyond that go unsaid. Then again, the music itself is designed to flow in a narrative way. Think of it like Camille Saint-Saëns' Carnival of the Animals, as it realizes most of the plot through music rather than words. Of course, that means if you want to get a full sense of what's going on, you really have to listen to the album. If you just listen casually, that aspect will be completely lost. Luckily, Oculus Infernum is very enjoyable to listen to, and it succeeds in being a horror-themed counterpart to Trans-Siberian Orchestra's Christmas albums.
So why did it fall into obscurity? I don't remember any tracks playing from it last time I was in a Spirit of Halloween store.
I've been wondering that as well, Snazzy, and I did try looking into it, but information on this band is scarce, so I couldn't find an answer. I can, however, speculate, and I think I've got an answer that makes sense. Did you notice that while I was talking about the story and the music, I never once mentioned Halloween? When it comes to TSO's Christmas albums, they are drenched in Yuletide spirit. Everything about them, from the album artwork to the lyrics, from the overarching stories to the instruments implemented, all of it makes you think of Christmas. It's inescapable, really.
Oculus Infernum, meanwhile, doesn't really have that much to do with Halloween.
Sure, it's horror-themed, but horror can exist independently of All Hallows' Eve. Heck, it can even be associated with Christmas. Ask Scrooge about that one. Nowhere in the narration is it established that the story takes place on Halloween, or in October, or even in the autumn. No mention is made of costumes, or candy, or anything else you might associate with the season.
I only found 2 things that link the album to the holiday, but those connections are so tenuous that it doesn't take much to break them.
First is the jack-o'-lantern on the album artwork, though that can also be associated with the legend of Sleepy Hollow, which, again, is not exclusively a Halloween story. Second, there's a cover of the main title from John Carpenter's Halloween, but that's a bonus track, meaning it's not part of the story, and given the amount of sampling and covers in the album, it doesn't really stand out as anything special. Beyond that, there's nothing else.
You can listen to this album on Halloween, of course, but you can also listen to it on Thanksgiving, Arbor Day, New Year's Eve, Mardi Gras, or World Naked Day for all that it matters.
I propose that Oculus Infernum fell into obscurity because it's not as steeped in Halloween as TSO is in Christmas. That means that even though it succeeded in replicating the Trans-Siberian Orchestra formula, it fell short of applying it practically.
That's too bad, really. I like the sound they came up with.
As do I, Snazzy, but there is some good news. The band may be dead, but the album is still in print, so anyone who wants to check it out easily can. And who knows, even though Van Helsing's curse is gone, maybe someone else will come along one day and pick up where they left off. Until then, of course, we have the original Oculus Infernum album to listen to on Halloween or whenever. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off. Years ago, I swear I saw a music video of this band playing a song that includes the Munsters theme, but I wasn't able to find it again, and it's nowhere on the album. I don't think I dreamed it. Did I? Congratulations, you reached the end. If you enjoyed this video, you might want to consider supporting us on Patreon. Of course, the other way to support us is to go to Amazon and check out our books, Operation Red Dragon, The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, The Occult Mafia, Emerald of Maddox City, and Assorted Absurdities, Tales of Kaiju Punk and Other Genres. Also check the description for links to DeviantArt and other platforms we operate. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.